Hello, everyone. We welcome you to another episode of the Gooners podcast. You might be noticing that Vijay is not here. Unfortunately, he could not join us. But Deepak and myself are going to try and give you a really very good episode. And in this episode, we are going to be talking about the Luton Town game that we won 2-0. And we are going to just take a look at the other games that happened midweek. Well, the smile on my face is because we had a cracker of a game today. It was like what I told Deepak before starting. It was like the clown derby. It was like who wanted to lose the game more. That's how the game felt. And then United did their best and lost the game in extra time. So yeah, going to talk about all of this. But then before we go into the topics, if you are uh, a listener of our podcast and have subscribed to the podcast, thank you very much. But if you haven't done so, I don't see any reason why you should be waiting. So click the subscribe button and the bell icon and continue supporting us as usual. And if you have any comments, do let us know in the comment section. And if you want to talk on the show, do let us know. We're always looking for new speakers. So do let us know and we'll bring you in for the episode. So with that out of the way, Deepak, let's start with the Luton game. Let's start with your first thoughts.
Yeah, obviously happy with the win. Uh, I was surprised with so many changes. Yeah, I did expect like changes, but yeah, was surprised with let's say who. No, actually, I wasn't surprised. This was expected. Like
I
this,
I think it
this
was
was one of
all
the game which we were. There was a chance for us to make this many amount of
exactly.
changes. This was one exact like a specific game which we wanted to make, and it didn't backfire. So if it had backfired, yeah, you know how Arsenal fans would have reacted. So
The
glad it
world
didn't
wouldn't be a
backfire.
happy place had that happened. So
Yeah, the only surprising thing for me in this match was Ode starting and
Mhm.
finishing 90 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was like a surprising thing for me. I thought he would be like one of the first names to be rested, given that he looked tired at the end of the City game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was surprising for me. That was one thing stood out from this game.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was
Yeah,
surprised too that he I thought like at some point in time someone else would come in for him.
yeah,
But then like probably, when I saw Martinelli coming in, it was more like, oh, he needs minutes. And that's the reason why, otherwise I would have expected definitely Nelson to stay on and finish the game.
yeah,
Then ESR too, it made sense because you don't want to rush him in after him coming back after a long time and you don't want to put the 90-minute pressure on him. He had a pretty good game. So I think like take him off while he still has that confidence because he was hobbling, he was losing a ball. And I think
yeah,
like
yeah,
at that point, it was good to take him off. I think the most of the changes that did happen were expected. Like I don't think we were expecting a change at the back in terms of the center backs or Ben White. But I
yeah,
think of course you don't want to mess the integrity of the team so too much. Like you're playing well with what we've done. For me, the biggest takeaway was actually even in spite of the changes, we as fans were not nervous going into the game. Or at least that's what I felt. Like even when I saw the lineups, I was like, okay, you know what, this team is capable of getting a win for sure, and it shouldn't be a
yeah. It's
problem even with all these changes.
yeah. It's. I think it comes from the back four, right?
Right.
Yeah, or like let's say like yeah, even Zinchenko started, but uh, the center back pairing White has like this season has been probably like the best back four. And looking at the season as a whole, we go into every game with that confidence that even if we don't score, right? I think we won't concede those
Concede,
silly
yeah.
goals. That's the confidence they are giving right now. So yeah, I didn't like expect us to draw or lose this game because it has been the way we have been playing this season.
Right.
There was some kind of a sense of inevitability, like let's say not as Liverpool, but I think we have been like winning those games at least from the start of this year, particularly 2024.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I wasn't surprised, and it was good to see like ESR performing well. Obviously, it was expected that his like legs won't like last the 90 minutes. I think after 60 minutes, the the game just like passed by
Yeah, yeah.
the entire team. And Partey also played pretty decent game. He just like ticked everything, kept the ball moving and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, the only disappointment was Nelson for me. Yeah,
Yeah. I was just about to come there because, like, from having the PTSD of like, oh, even if we change one player, we are going to lose this team, and all the bozo genes of older defenders. To see
yeah,
all of these changes being made, like five changes being made. I don't remember the last time like five changes were made for a Premier League game with us. We know that like Arteta likes to run his players to the ground, but like with all of this, and to see like Saka not being there, Martinelli not
yeah,
being there, and still being able to win this game was very refreshing. It's like it shows that it's not just about like us as fans, but it also how well the squad has evolved and how well the team has evolved in terms of the confidence that the players had in pulling out this win. If we consider the first half, I think it was only a matter of time before we scored the goal. It was like
yeah,
so many nice plays, so many nice balls being put in, through balls going into the final third. But then like it not ending in a goal sort of showed that these guys have not played well together. I think beyond
yeah,
that, there is nothing that we could actually attribute it to. But the first goal, ESR did an amazing job for the first goal. It was all for me. It was all his goal. I mean, like we started with the winning the
yeah.
ball, and then like
It was like yeah, typical Arsenal this season, right? We like suffocated them up top and made them lose the ball, and then went ahead and scored. Yeah, it was like a great, and it was a very good finish from Odegaard.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
It was like just three to four passes,
yeah,
and we had that goal. Like with
yeah,
ESR, that was good for me because like I was always worried that because of the injuries and because of not wanting to go into tackles, ESR would actually be very careful and not go into anything like this, even if it just meant stealing the ball. But like he was able to do that and was able to pass the ball immediately, so that was good. I think the second goal was it had to come at some point in time in the first half with the amount of chances that we were taking, and I thought Reece scored it, but but then it wasn't to be. It ended up being an own goal,
yeah,
and like again, ESR was at the center of all of this. It was very nice to see him get that man of the match award too. What
yeah.
happened in the second half?
I I I seriously don't know. Like I just wanted to switch off the TV and just yeah, it was that kind of even Luton didn't want to do anything. They tried to press, but they couldn't create anything. There were few blocks from Gabriel when Luton tried to attack. Even like Raya was just hoofing the ball up
Yeah.
like to I don't know to whom. How Havertz went away. We know Eddie cannot win a header. I don't know why he was doing that. It was just like, oh, no one wants to play. You just try different things and see if it
It was
works.
like we don't want to keep the ball, but we will still control the game and make sure that we don't score,
Yeah,
concede any goals. That's how it was.
yeah. I felt bad for Luton as well, given their injury. They couldn't.
Injuries,
They have been
definitely,
one of the most exciting teams to watch,
definitely,
and they
definitely.
couldn't like put some fight because of the team. I think they had 13 injuries or something.
Yeah, 13 injuries. Like the guys that
Yeah,
you would normally expect, like Sambi, none of them played, so that was like
yeah,
different. But then like they did have like Barkley and
yeah.
Morris
We
who were
just like
giving us.
sleepwalk to a victory in the second half. It
Yeah,
felt like that.
definitely. But I'll take this. You know what? I'll take this at
Yeah,
the
yeah,
time
sure.
when games are coming
Three
thick and
points,
fast.
it matters,
Yeah,
right? At the
yeah,
end.
we are going to be playing like teams every 3 to 4 days, and in that during that period, if a game like this happens where we don't have to exert too much energy and we can
Yeah,
conserve, we don't have to run too much. I think we should just take it. I'm glad that we got a game like this in the middle of like the 10 games that we have to play. So
yeah.
that's really good. So
There
yeah,
is
like
one more
I'm
game like something like this against Bournemouth, but yeah,
Bournemouth. Yeah.
Bournemouth are more. But we know what happened last time. But yeah, still,
Oh
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah.
one of those games we could rest and like yeah, give others chances. But yeah, this and
I,
Luton are the only game I see that happening.
I honestly, I'm just hoping that by the time we get to play Bournemouth, they are in no sort of like relegation battle or anything.
They
They are
aren't in
good now. Oh
relegation.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they are 41 points. I didn't realize that. Okay, they're away
yeah,
from relegation, so they won't like do anything that could possibly sabotage like what we want to do. So that's good in my opinion.
yeah,
We started like five, of course, people coming back from injuries and all that. We had five new people come in. Zinchenko was one of them, Party, Smithrow, and Nelson. And also we had like Trossard starting. Of course, Trossard, I don't think we can call him like a substitute bench player. He's more like rotational right now, having getting like a lot
yeah.
of game time. But out of these four guys, I felt at times that I don't know if I should be this strict, but I felt like at times the game. Well, you mentioned Nelson. Nelson wasn't good. You mentioned him, but like I felt for Zinchenko at times the game was like
Yeah.
he was not in the game. Like I know you compromise on certain things when you bring Zinchenko in, but it was not defensively that he was caught out. It was when we had possession that he did like
Yeah, it
stupid things.
was typical Zinchenko performance, right? Some good things and some like really bad, idiotic things which he does. So yeah,
Like it,
I
it,
think
it seemed
it
that
was nothing new for me.
it seemed at one point like he wanted Luton to score the goal to make the game more interesting. He
Yeah,
was trying everything in terms of his passing. He was trying to do everything to make the game more interesting. But thankfully, we had Gabriel at the end. Now, this begs a question, right? So, like, which of these players do you think, like, out of the four that started, like, let's include Trossard as well, are going to be playing a bigger role for the rest of the season? Like, we have Zinchenko, Party. Party was good. Smithrow was very good. Nelson was bad. Zinchenko was okay. So, and
I
let's
think yeah,
include
it
Trossard,
would
I guess.
be part. Yeah, Trossard is obviously going to play a
Yeah,
huge
yeah,
role,
yeah, yeah.
which is known. Out of, I think yeah, it would be Partey for sure. I think he would be a good cover for Rice and thing
Mm,
stuff. And also, yeah, ESR, I don't know whether he would get more chances. Like,
oh, you
probably,
think?
like we said, yeah, I don't think so. Given the games we have, right? I don't see him getting another start except for that Bournemouth game. Maybe,
Mm,
maybe against Chelsea, but I don't think so. Arteta would make that change, putting ESR. Maybe you would get like 15, 20 minutes, but I don't see him
mm-hmm,
starting any other game other than Bournemouth. So I think his contribution would still be less. Nelson for sure is not getting anything
mm-hmm.
after that performance. And Zinchenko, I think Arteta trusts him a lot. So probably yeah, he would come in when we have let's say two goals up or something to make the game interesting.
Yeah,
But from
yeah.
Arteta's perspective, you would give more control. But for us, from our perspective, it'd be like, oh yeah, he is coming in to make the game interesting.
Yes,
So,
yeah. We've not had anything
yeah,
clown
but
like
yeah,
happening. Yeah,
in my opinion, Partey is the only one who might have a larger role to play among the four, like ESR, Partey, Nelson, and Zinchenko.
especially if you're going to be like going further in the Champions League. I think
Yeah,
that would be he would definitely have a big role to play. So out of these guys, like who do you think does not have a future at Arsenal next season?
I think it would be Nelson. Maybe he hasn't like gone to that next level, right? Which we are
Yeah,
expecting.
like
He's
in
like
fact, like he
he's
seems to
still
have
like
gone down a
Martinelli.
bit.
Yeah,
That's
he
where I
was like
feel.
Martinelli when people were hyping Martinelli so much. Martinelli wasn't doing that great. Like probably 3 or 4 seasons back, or even
Mm,
three
mm, mm,
seasons
mm.
back. He's at that stage. So yeah, if he doesn't show up anything, I don't think so. We have gone as a team. We have gone to the next level.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's true.
So yeah,
That's
we
true.
might be signing someone who is not going to be a backup to Saka or Martinelli or someone who challenge those two.
That's
Nelson is definitely a backup.
exactly. Like we saw him coming in, and for all the talk of like having a clinical striker, it sort of like made it clear that this is where we need another person because the drop off in
Yeah,
quality. Like I can accept the fact that you're coming and playing after a long time, but like if you're not going to be putting that effort that is needed in on the pitch, you're actually jeopardizing the remaining 10 players who are trying to play at their maximum level and fighting for every ball. That attitude was really missing from Nelson, I thought. Yeah, he made like a
yeah,
good track back, but that's not his role. It's like saying
yeah.
that Zinchenko, like, like you want to see the defense, but what Zinchenko provides sort of, the compromise I feel is like not as bad as what Nelson was doing. And that's where I feel like he doesn't have a future in the team. I think Smith
I
Rowe
think
still would be retained.
Even Partey is up in the air, right? You don't know like what is going to happen with Partey. And if you ask me, I would you would know the answer. Sell Zinchenko and find a
Zinchenko.
better one. But I think yeah, Arteta trusts him too like so much. I think he would still be in the squad. But yeah, Nelson probably would be sold, and maybe Partey as well.
Yeah,
And ESR
that's
has that Haaland connection. I think we won't sell him at least if we don't get a good bid or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we look for 35 to 40. Like I think we'll stand on that, like not losing out on him.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think like it was overall like a professional performance. Like we didn't break a sweat. We didn't like sweat a lot. I would say, and we managed to come out with those 3 points, and nobody got injured. That's another
yeah.
good thing. Like it's we have 9 games to go with a few games in the Champions League, at least a
And
couple
it's
of
a
games in the
tough
Champions League.
away game coming up as well. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely 9 games. Or sorry, 8 games to go. So with that, like it's pretty good. So, yeah, nothing more to talk about the Luton game. I guess I can just say like we got a clear idea of who we have on the bench, what these guys can bring in, and who can actually stay and who could possibly leave. Like in terms of, like you said, we've evolved as a team beyond like accepting mediocrity in certain positions or like mediocrity in substitutions. I think if the levels have to be high, then we have to take some ruthless decisions in this professional sport. That's how it
yeah,
functions. So, like you can say, Zinchenko was a part, or even Jesus was a part of the team when we were building up, but then we have gone past that stage at a much faster rate than we thought we would. So, I think
mm,
all the decisions from now on should be like keeping that in mind, maintaining the standards, and increasing like the levels, not going for people like Joe Gomez that we were linked in a few days ago. And I was like, you want to increase levels and you want to bring in Joe Gomez. He's not even good to be like a squad player. Like a performance here and there is not going to convince me that he can be a right back instead of Ben White or a left back instead of Kvyat. So
yeah,
yeah, that was good. It was good that we got to see this. Now we'll move on and we'll take a look at the other games. Like I said in the beginning, we had an amazing game between Chelsea and United. Who wants to lose first, sort of a game it was. But we'll start with the Newcastle Everton game. I thought Newcastle had the game. They almost won it, and then like out of nowhere there was a penalty at the end of the game. I think Everton were totally outplayed in that game. That's how I
yeah.
felt, like and it wasn't a surprise for me. And Newcastle played pretty decently for a game of this sort, but then like conceded that penalty right at the end.
Yep.
And that was like,
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't see that match actually. Yeah,
it
so
was,
I
yeah,
could
it was.
comment on that. Yeah,
Yeah, it was I wasn't sure about whether I wanted to watch it or not, but then like I think the other option was Nottingham Forest Fulham, so I decided to watch this.
yeah.
And did you see the Nottingham Forest game?
No, I didn't see any game except for that West Ham Tottenham game.
Okay.
But yeah, when I actually last part I said Fulham is the team I expect to take points of
Liverpool.
Liverpool, and
I
then they
was
go and lose it.
That's the thing, right? I didn't watch the game, but I saw the result 3-1, and I was like, my God, 3-1 for Nottingham Forest, and
Yeah,
they scored all their 3 goals within the first half. So
yeah,
by
I
the
was
time
surprised
halftime came
about
out,
that.
it was
Yeah,
3-0. And I remember the exact same thing that you said. Like, my God, Deepak wanted this team to take points of Liverpool. I don't
it's
see
not
that
happening.
happening. That's how it
Yeah,
was. And Burnley and Wolves, Burnley managed to grab a point from that game. I thought Wolves would definitely take the 3 points out of that game. I didn't watch that game either, but like when I look at the stats, it seems like Burnley dominated Wolves,
Yeah.
which sort of gives me a good feeling about when we would be playing them. I think
Wolves
Wolves.
has like a lot of injuries as well. Their
Yeah,
front,
exactly.
all their strikers are gone. Like Chong is injured, Hong is injured. Who is that? The other guy is also injured.
Neto, Neto is also
Yeah,
injured.
Neto is injured. Yeah. So yeah, it's a good time to play them and get them out of the way. They are a very
Exactly.
tricky team.
Exactly. I was worried about it, but then it was like after I saw the result of the game, I was like, okay, maybe we it's not going to be as bad after all. And Bournemouth beat Crystal Palace, which I think secured their safety, and they don't have to be worrying about relegation scrap battle for this season anymore.
Actually, they're pushing for top
Top
table,
half
like
finish.
top 10 finish. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
good
yeah.
for them.
Yeah, on the other hand, I feel like Crystal Palace are sort of they
They are
are
safe
trying their
and
best. Yeah, nothing seems to have
they're trying.
improved for them.
Yeah, they're trying their best to get back into relegation battle.
Yeah, 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 they
That's
came
how
out
it
of it.
feels.
They changed the manager. They changed Hodgson. They got this new guy, but still, it feels like they are playing. The teams from let's say 14 to 20, anybody can get relegated at this point. I feel
Yeah,
it's 7 games to go, 8 games to go. It seems like anybody can get relegated. It's only like 8 points between Crystal Palace and Luton Town, and
yeah,
probably just a couple of more games, and I think we'll know who's going down for sure. Like none of this Nottingham Forest, Everton would be in that situation, I think. So, I mean, let's see. But the next one was again the Tottenham West Ham game. Honestly, for all the talk, it was so hilarious the way in which the Tottenham fans were talking. The worst Tottenham in transition first season is just 7 points away from Arsenal, who are having their best season. I was like, what? Where do you guys get this confidence from? It was like you guys know that if you take one or two players out of your team, you don't have anything. But then you get the confidence and you talk like this, and now they are 11 points behind us. So
yeah,
yeah, your thoughts on that game?
yeah. I saw that game. I think West Ham should have won that game at the end. They had two good chances and they missed it. But yeah, like Perth, it's and Ranch. It's always open. It's fun to watch them. But yeah, and even if they drop points, and there is this another clown team fans who expect them to catch them, and they go on and drop shitty points.
That's a funny part, right? Like you see United fans looking at the fixture list and they're like, oh, Villa has to play Liverpool, Villa has to play City, Villa has to play Arsenal, Spurs have to play these three teams too. So this is where we'll get the chance. And I'm like, motherfuckers, guys have to win your games. You cannot catch up with those teams if you don't win
Yeah,
your games. I don't know where you guys get this confidence from. The funniest part was I saw someone there's a account on Twitter, a Tactico, a Spurs Tactico. His name is Invert the Wings, similar to No New Thing. And this guy was actually, he posted today in the morning that Romero is the best center back in the league
center back
right
in the league. Yeah, I know. I
now.
saw that. And they
I
have
was
that
like,
shitty name for him, like QT or something.
yeah.
Starts with it.
I'm like, what makes you guys think that he's the best? Not even good, the best. That's it's a big praise, and I really don't understand these guys sometimes.
Yeah.
They
They have
are
conceded 44 goals and they are saying he is the best center back.
That's the thing. And if you ask them, they would say the same thing. Udogi is better than Kivior, and Van de Ven is better than Gabriel, and
Yeah.
this fellow Romero is better than Saliba, and Poro is better than White. But still, they are where they are, and it's really really funny to see the delusion that these guys have. The other game was Brentford Brighton. I don't know if you saw that game, but it was an away game for Brighton and they drew 0
No,
0.
it was during our game, right? So I didn't see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I
Yeah.
saw something that made me question De Zerbi's credibility. He was actually celebrating the draw. And for me, it was like, why are you celebrating a draw against Brentford? You don't have to do anything. Brentford will like fall into their graves themselves. You don't have to even dig the grave for them. They'll dig it and fall into it. And like this guy was
Yeah.
celebrating the draw. And, like these are things that sort of go under the radar, but I don't think they should. And the next one, of course, the last three games were like teams that involved the title challenges as well as a couple of clowns. And the first one was
Yeah.
City against Villa. Did you watch
Yeah,
that game?
I saw that game. Villa just folded in the second half simply. Yeah, and Emery gave up after like Foden scored the third goal. After
Yeah.
like 3-1 went up. He said, "Oh, fuck this shit! I don't want this to be turning into 6-1 or 7-1." Yeah,
And it was like they had injuries, but they still like played a very weak team, in my opinion. It was like they didn't. It seemed like they were certain that they were
yeah,
going to get the fourth or fifth spot, and they're like, okay, let's not like do something stupid and like injure more players before we go for the Conference League games, and that's how it seemed like. The way
yeah.
in which they played, you're right, they absolutely folded. And it was, do you think this is like the usual Emery last end game mess up? Did it seem like that? Or
I think, yeah, like I said for first as well, right? Even if every messes up, there is no one to catch them with the way United are going. So I think they should be okay. It's still a toss up between who is going to mess up the worst, right? Is it the Spursy thing or is it going to be Emery? So
yeah, exactly. And then like it's going to be these. I don't see United coming in. I don't see
yeah,
United coming into fourth or fifth beyond this. I think like we discussed, if it's not about these teams losing, it's all about
yeah.
United winning,
The
and like
other team winning, right? Yeah, they are
they're
not
not
doing
doing
enough. Yeah,
anything. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was funny because Arsenal fans were expecting Villa to take points of City.
not happening.
Though it was City's home and like Emery. Even worse was the next game. Arsenal fans expecting Sheffield to take points of Liverpool at Anfield. And it almost seemed like that for 70 minutes, like the prayers were answered and it was going to finally end in a draw. But then, like,
Yeah,
as Liverpool have done this season in every single game that they've played, they play bad for an entire half. And second half,
yeah.
all of
They
a
were
sudden,
they were so bad against Sheffield. Actually, yeah. And I saw probably the replay of the first of 45 minutes. Yeah, because I was done with work. I saw they were poor, and as usual, like you said, they somehow turn up and McAllister scored a cracker,
yeah,
and yeah, the game was done.
I was not expecting that goal at all. It came out of nowhere and then boom, top corner. So at that point, we knew that it was only for me. I was really happy that they didn't score eight for me because I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
it's
the goal
Sheffield.
difference. Yeah,
We have an
yeah,
8 goal difference against them, and they are going to like make up for it in this game. And
good. That
yeah,
didn't happen.
thankfully it did happen. So the last game, I'm like,
Oh,
as I'm talking about it, I'm just like remembering whatever happened in that game, and it's so
that
difficult
game
not
was
to like laugh about what
yeah.
happened in that game.
People will say it was a great game, but that was like the game of two shitty teams. Like no one knows to defend, no one knows how to work in a midfield. It is just like you say, like peak Barclays between two mid-table clubs.
That's how it was. Yeah, absolutely. Like the way in which Chelsea were able to go into United's midfield and get to the final third, it was
Yeah,
so easy. I was like, if Chelsea are able to do this, they shouldn't be at 12th. And then I saw the other side was United. But how are these guys at sixth? It doesn't make any sense to me. And on top of
yeah.
that, they got more injuries too. I was hoping that they would be the ones who would be able to get some points of Liverpool. But after seeing them today,
Not
absolutely
happening.
gone. Absolutely
Yeah,
gone. I don't see any way Liverpool is going to lose to this team. At least I think that sort of a win for this season for United was done with the FA Cup game that they won. I think like
yep,
that
that
was
is done.
the end of this fluke win that they could possibly get. The funny part is they went into the game with a 0 goal difference. Until the 97th minute, they had a 1 goal difference, positive one. And within
And
the
then
next
minus
8 minutes,
another.
they
Yeah,
became -1. So it was like it was like the proper answer to people who wanted entertainment from our game against City during the weekend. It was like, it just reminded me of Gladiator. Like, it was like, are you entertained? That's all it was. This game was.
Yeah,
Apart from that, nothing. Like, if you are used to watching your team do well, control games, you would be frustrated watching this. It was like
and
that
this season has
levels.
been surprising. There have been so many 4-3 victories.
Yeah, yeah,
It,
yeah, 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 yeah.
our game, Newcastle, West Ham, this game. I think there are other couple of games as well. Luton has been involved in most of them,
Most of
and
them, yeah.
United has been involved in most of them.
That's where I feel sad, because like Luton don't compromise or anything, whether they have the right players or not. They play that high intensity game, home, away from home. But sadly, like teams like Nottingham Forest will continue to stay, and Everton would continue to stay, but like a Luton Town is going to go down, and then that's going to be like really sad. That here's hoping that the next the weekend's games go well. You want to make any predictions for the weekend games?
For all the
City
games, let
Palace,
me.
City
City is
Palace.
winning that game. There is no doubt.
Yeah, but
Where
City
is
are
the
playing
line?
away. I mean, like, but I don't. I know it's Palace. You
No,
cannot like put any hope on them. Wolves are
yeah, I
playing
don't
West
think.
Ham. Wolves are playing at home.
It might be a draw, I think, given
Draw.
Wolves'
Yeah,
injury. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I too will go for a draw. Everton Burnley. It's like the old Burnley
Oh,
versus the new Burnley.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Given Burnley has been performing decently for the last 3-4 games, maybe if lucky they might make a win, and it would make the relegation battle even more interesting.
Oh, you think they can win? I would just go for a draw, because I don't see
Everton,
like
yeah,
who can score
okay,
the goals for Everton. That's the problem. I don't know who's going to
yeah.
score the goals for them. Aston Villa, Brentford. It's a home game for Aston Villa. I think they
Villa
should win
should
this
win
one.
this. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they
yeah.
should win this one. Fulham, Newcastle. Fulham's home game.
I think Fulham would win.
Yeah,
Somehow they play well in their home, so yeah, they should somehow make like a 2-1 or something.
yeah. I think Fulham can win this one too, because like Newcastle aren't like putting too much. If they're playing away from home, they're not like the same team that plays at home. They somehow like
Yeah,
wins at home. Yeah, that's true. Luton, Bournemouth. Luton's home.
I think Bournemouth would. I think it would be a draw. Yeah,
Draw. Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
I too
Yeah,
feel it would be a draw. I think this one would be a draw. I don't see like Luton winning the game, and I don't see Bournemouth losing the game either. So I think this would be a draw. And then our game, Brighton against Arsenal. Did
I
you see
think
that
it would.
stat? Brighton have lost only one game at home this season, and that was to
Yeah,
West Ham.
no, yeah. So I think we would still go and win. Three. I think 3-1. Brighton, they are too good not to score a goal. They
Yeah,
somehow create chances even against better teams. So I
yeah,
expect them to score a goal, but given the form we are in and the situation we are in, I think we would somehow grind out. Not a grind out. I think we would go gung ho and try to score more goal. I think this would be a fun game out, but and obviously it's going to be a tough game. But I still
yeah, yeah.
see us winning 2-1 or 3-1.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. At least a 2-1, because we might concede a goal, but then like we'll definitely score a couple of goals at least, and that's the confidence level of the team.
Yeah,
Even if
Brighton
Saka's
plays open, right? So
open,
we
yeah, yeah,
would
yeah,
get chances. Yeah. If
yeah,
someone plays open against us, we always tend to like create more chances.
absolutely. So I would also say the same. Sheffield against Chelsea. It's Sheffield's home game. I think Chelsea should
Chelsea
be able
can
to
mess
nick a
up.
win.
I don't know. I can't predict Chelsea games anymore.
I understand what you mean, but I think Chelsea can still manage a win because of how bad Sheffield are. So I think that they'll be able to get a win. And then Tottenham against Forest. It's a home game for Tottenham.
I think it might be a draw.
Oh wow!
I think it, yeah, I want it to be a draw, but yeah, let's see. I think it would be a 2-2 draw, let's say.
Because Forest would go all out, because they are at a stage
Yeah,
where they are also like close to the relegation spot, so they would definitely be going all out. So they would try. I wouldn't be surprised with the draw, but I think since it's home, Spurs would win this one. I think
Yeah,
they'll
they
win it
might
like
win
two
at
one or something.
90th minute and
Yeah,
celebrate
yeah,
like a
something
title
of
win
that sort.
and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those
So
nonsense they will do.
something of that sort. Now the big game of the weekend: United against Liverpool at Old Trafford.
Yeah, I was expecting a draw before like today's match, and given the injuries they had, like Varane went off, Evans went off. I don't think so. They have a starting centre back except
No,
Maguire.
they don't.
Three
They
other,
don't. It's going to be Maguire with Kambola mostly.
yeah, and given Liverpool lost the FA Cup, right? They for sure they wouldn't want to lose against United. So they probably they might batter them like final.
I think that's the mentality that they would be going in with, like, we
Yeah,
let these guys like take a win out of us, like in a game, in a game that we had the game in our pockets. So uh,
yeah.
my heart
So
wants
I'm
to desperately say, yeah, yeah, go on.
probably I think Liverpool would win 3-1 or 4-1.
Yeah, my heart desperately wants to say like United are going to win like 2-1, nickel late win, but yeah, my
No,
mind says there's no way that's happening.
the
Liverpool are
max we
going to
can
win the game.
expect is a draw, maybe
Yeah, yeah,
not a
that's
win,
what
definitely.
but I think like Liverpool will win this one. I think they'll win it, like you said, 2-1 or 3-1. Yeah. So that's about the games for the next game week, guys. So we had the review of the Luton game. We reviewed the rest of the games during the midweek, as well as a preview for the upcoming games. So do let us know what you felt about the Luton game and the rest of the games that happened during the weekend, and give your score predictions for the weekend game in the comment section below. And as usual, thanks a lot for your support, and please do continue supporting us. So thanks a lot, Deepak, for joining me. Vijay would be back for the next episode to host the show, and Deepak and I at that point would just be speakers, and we won't have any hosting duties or running the show duties. So yeah, so thank you very much, guys. See you in the next episode.
You
Thank you.